Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm here to talk about retro video games. Ahoy there, Fancy Pants! Today I'm talking about a game that I consider one of the best when it comes to adventure. It's The Secret of Monkey Island. The Secret of Monkey Island is a point-and-click adventure game developed by Lucasfilm Games and first released on PC in 1990. In 2009, a special edition of the game was released, which included updated audio, visuals, and UI. It also gave the option of playing with all the original assets, which is what I did for this review, though I'll give my take on the updates at the end. In Monkey Island, you play the role of Guybrush Threepwood, a young man who has come to Melee Island and wants to be a pirate. Guybrush finds out that in order to become a pirate, he must undergo the 3 trials: treasure hunting, sword fighting, and thieving. He also finds out that all the other pirates on the island have taken a hiatus from sailing and pillaging because the ghost pirate LeChuck has been terrorizing the high seas. He'll probably have to do something about that too. As Guybrush, you explore the island, examining objects, talking to residents, and gathering inventory. The UI is very intuitive. There's a 9-verb system that allows you to interact with everything. It has commands like open, use, push, and talk to. Initially, the game had 12 commands, but 3 of them, turn on, turn off, and walk to, proved extraneous and were removed in later versions. Your inventory is shown on the screen, so you always have access to everything you need without worrying about fussing with menus or secondary screens. While talking with other characters, you can select dialogue options. The Secret of Monkey Island represented a bit of a departure from adventure games of the time. It was designed to be much more accessible. There are no dead ends in this game, no unwinnable situations, no deaths when you make a mistake. In fact, there's only one way to die, and you really have to go out of your way to do it. Monkey Island removed the trial and error that was necessary for games like King's Quest, Space Quest, the ICOM simulation games, or even Lucasfilm's own Zak McKracken and Maniac Mansion. For me, this was a great design decision, and part of what makes Monkey Island so great. I'd rather challenge come from a game's puzzles than from punishment for mistakes. That just causes frustration, a paranoid urge to create a new save file every 2 minutes, and inevitable anger when you forget to save. In fact, I'm still mad at Leisure Suit Larry 2 for this. I got right to the end of the game, literally 3 or 4 actions from being able to finish it, only to find out that I hadn't picked up an airsick bag on an airplane, and therefore couldn't finish the game. Not being able to get stuck like this is nothing but good news. The game's puzzles are mostly inventory-based, though there are a few that are more unique. One of these is insult sword fighting, which is a highlight of the game. Actual combat is rare in adventure games, though Lucasfilm had tried it in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in '89. In Monkey Island, though you wield a sword, the real fighting is done with words. You best other pirates with insults and snappy comebacks. You start out with only a couple insults and paltry comebacks no better than "I know you are, but what am I?" In order to learn more, you need to pick fights with the pirates who roam the roads of Melee Island. When a pirate uses an insult or comeback at you, it gets added to your repertoire. When you've learned enough, you'll start winning fights and eventually be told that you're good enough to fight the Swordmaster. The fight with the Swordmaster is fantastic because she uses original insults that you haven't heard before. So it's not just a matter of repeating exactly what you've been doing in previous fights, but of making new choices. How appropriate. You fight like a cow. One of the big draws of The Secret of Monkey Island is its humor. It is consistently funny. Insults play a big role in the comedy. Outside the sword fighting, you also come across 2 circus brothers slinging insults. Guybrush is constantly being insulted, and you even end up trading insults with LeChuck at some point. But there are also a lot of laughs that arise from bizarre situations and characters. You run into cannibals who are concerned about what eating you will do to their cholesterol. You come across a man who's been shipwrecked for years who always claims to have pressing business to attend to. There are also a lot of Easter eggs and references to other games. A pirate wears an Ask Me About Loom button, and references to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade are abundant. Can I interest you in these fine leather jackets? One of my favorite scenes in the game happens when you're stealing a precious idol from the governor's mansion. You get caught by the sheriff, and a mighty rumble ensues. Of course, all of this happens off-screen. Pixel art games aren't known for their frenetic action sequences, so the developers did something really clever here. They make use of the game's interface and commands to tell you what's going on. You see Guybrush make stylish confetti and take a pair of wax lips from a yak. You don't see these things on screen, but they spark the imagination and induce a lot of giggles. I think this is a fantastic example of developers making the most of their resources. This is also the place where we first meet Governor Elaine Marley, who provides the driving force for the second and third acts of the story. Guybrush instantly falls for her. And the governor falls for him soon after, which is a little unexplainable since Guybrush can't even string together a sentence in her presence. However, before they're able to explore a relationship, Elaine is kidnapped by the ghost pirate LeChuck. Guybrush needs to put together a crew and find a ship and sail off to Monkey Island to rescue her. Obtaining a ship is a place where another unique puzzle type comes into play. This time, it involves haggling. While insult sword fighting was great, the process of purchasing a ship is the one place where the game kind of drags for me. Stan of Stan's Used Shipyard and his used ship salesman shtick is amusing. At first. But if you don't know the exact right way to haggle him down to a price you can afford, this scene can go on for a long time. Thankfully, things pick up once you set sail, and though humor through repetition has not been used for the last time, it's much better later on. The Secret of Monkey Island has memorable music and beautiful pixel art. This is where I'm going to compare the Special Edition since the changes are mainly to presentation. In addition to aesthetic updates, the Special Edition changes the game's UI. The commands and inventory are pushed off the screen so we get a bigger picture. I find selecting commands and interacting with items a little more cumbersome this way. The Special Edition gets rid of the original's wonderful pixel art and replaces it with something that I find a lot less special. It's modern and stylized, but lacks character. It's not bad art, and I find some of the backgrounds are actually quite nice, but the original pixel art was just so well done. The worst affront is the change of art in the close-ups. Look how amazing the original is. And this one. This is some of the best pixel art I've ever seen. The characters have such life in their eyes and the colors are gorgeous. And they replaced it with this. Why? Why would you do this? The audio side of things is much more positive.
Captain LeChuck, sir.
There's nothing like the hot winds of hell blowing in your face.
While the original soundtrack is fantastic and very memorable, at times it's used quite sparingly within the game. The remaster sounds are richer, and there's more use of background music and ambient noise, which makes the world seem more alive. The addition of voice acting is also nice and very well done overall. The Special Edition also adds a hint system in case you're stuck. The best thing about it is that you can use the original graphics and UI, but add the voice acting. You can also seamlessly switch between old and new at any time with a single button press. I think it's great to be able to compare between the two so easily, or dip into the Special Edition if you want a quick hint. The Secret of Monkey Island is fun to play, often hilarious, and is beautiful to look at. It represents a change in adventure games towards being less punishing to the player while still having challenging puzzles. When it comes to point and clicks, I still think this is one of the best. So, what is the secret of Monkey Island anyway? Who knows? If you want to see more of my favorite adventure games, check out my review of Under a Killing Moon. I also have a Patreon if you want to support my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.